It's Not Another Buffalo Podcast, hosted by three of the most underqualified sports personalities this side of the canal. With John.
There's no way in hell that I can leave that in, right?
You don't think so?
Well, to quote Rage Against the Machine, what better place than here? And, what better time than now?
And Brando.
We have this trust built on, whatever it is, like Bibles and gold bricks and whatever Brandon Bean's drinking over there.
Welcome back to Not Another Buffalo Podcast. I'm John. I'm here with my buddy Brando here on a Tuesday evening. This episode is brought to you guys by Small City Realty. If you're looking to buy, sell, or manage property in Western New York, our guy Zach Korzelius, you can call him at 585-409-1088, 585-409-1088, or Zachary at smallcityrealestate.com. Brando, we've got the schedule coming up here in a week, so it'll be next Wednesday evening will be when a bunch of stuff comes out. But we realized we're in a conundrum here because the leaks kind of start on like Monday of next week. Like it's like head on a swivel. Everybody's on Twitter following Shefty, and inevitably there will be 16 fake Adam Schefter accounts breaking games throughout the week. So keep your head on a swivel. It's like April Fool's Day of the NFL world.
I want to know how they get out. They have to be planned. It has to be leaked to somebody. Yeah, like what's the storyline behind all these leaks? How does it get out? Who leaks it to who? Is it like a yearly thing? Is it the same guy leaking it to the same guy for each franchise? Is it like, John Smith for the NFL has 32 contacts and he sends a quick little message to Joey Schmoby. He's like, yeah, you guys got the opener tomorrow or Thursday, whatever. I want to know how it works.
I think what they do is I think they just hand the schedule to Mike Waltz and say, don't put this in a group chat. And then that just takes care of itself.
Well, it's always interesting to me.
Well, it's all intentional, right? Like all these little leaks are meant to drum up interest throughout the entire week for the schedule release, which will be on a Wednesday evening. So anyway, we're interested to see what the Bills schedule looks like. And if you think this isn't a big deal for Bills fans, I feel like it actually is, because this is what we plan our falls around. And winters now. My significant other is asking me, can we do a trip in October? Like, what does this look like? Can we go overseas? Like, is this a good time for an international trip? What do you want to do in December? Like, how is this interface? Like, how does Thanksgiving work with my family this year? Okay. We're with my family for Thanksgiving this year and her family for Christmas. So and the Bills schedule is integral in all of this because there are certain games like, if this is Chiefs weekend, I can't be in Iceland, I can't be somewhere else, and we've got to do the pod and we've got to, do a bunch of other things. And so it kind of revolves around that, and not even just for people like us who do the podcasting thing, but just fans who want to know travel plans. If you're somebody who likes to try to go to one away game per year, like a road trip with your buddies, this is a big day too, because you're figuring out, you're looking at those road opponents, and then what time of year is going to be a big deal because, if you're trying to go see the Bills play the Browns and it's on Christmas Day or something like that, I'm not saying that will happen, but that's a lot different than a September game in Cleveland where you're 3 hours down the road and stuff like that. So
the same as, they flipped it last year, 2 years ago, Miami early, Buffalo late against the Dolphins. Right. And the late game against Miami is nice because you're getting out of town a little bit, go somewhere warm on the back half of the schedule. And if you go to Miami in September, October, you're looking at 95, 100-degree games, as we saw when we lost once.
Right.
The international games are playing a big role in this now. The Bills could be up for another international game. They didn't have one last year. Where they have it at, I'm interested. Ireland could be an option. Australia could be an option. I would love to know what time kickoff is in Australia.
There's an Australian game this year?
I thought I saw something about Australia being in the NFL.
Okay, I know there's Germany. Okay, let me. I had it pulled up. I got to pull it up again.
The NFL will host its first regular season game in Australia in 2026. Okay, so
not this year. Okay, so these are the international games. Brazil with the Chargers hosting, Berlin, Germany with the Colts hosting, Madrid, Spain with the Dolphins hosting. That's new.
That could happen.
Croke Park in Dublin is the Ireland game with the Steelers hosting. We already know that. Interestingly enough, I Googled this, and the Google AI, the top answer at the top of the search thing, it told me that the game was going to be played on September 28th, and the Vikings were going to be the visiting team for that. So either Google AI is hallucinating or it knows something. So keep that in mind. Yeah. I don't think that game would be that early. Usually they put these international games in October.
Where would this be at? Where did you say it was?
It's
Bills,
in
Vikings?
No. That would be it said the Vikings would play the Steelers in Ireland.
Gotcha.
Even though, as far as I can tell, the date of that game and the Steelers' opponent has not been officially announced. So that's just what the Google AI said. So again, probably no truth to that. And then 3 London games. You got, well, maybe more than that, depending on how many the Jags play. But the Jags are playing at Wembley. The Browns are playing at Tottenham. And the Jets are also playing a game at Tottenham. So
In London. Jags, Jets, Browns. We're giving them the good stuff.
The plight of the middling teams.
Yep.
I love it.
I think we can get into this for a little bit. I really want to go to Spain. Like, I would love to go to Spain, Costa del Sol, all that stuff. Bills, Dolphins in Spain. You don't have to twist my arm to look into a trip of that,
That's true. I read something interesting. So Miami just hosted F1 this weekend, right?
Okay.
The F1 race was in Miami. Hard Rock Stadium from the F1 event will do more in ticket revenue from that weekend than they will for their entire home slate of schedules combined for the Dolphins.
Really?
Which I thought was really interesting. And that's a capacity thing, but I also think the average F1 ticket price in the U.S. is actually higher than an NFL ticket price.
So
believe it or not.
I just pulled it up here. Sorry to cut you off. 275,000 attendants over a 3-day race weekend.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Wow, that's a lot.
Anyway, so back to the international stuff. I thought it would be funny if I let ChatGPT do the work on this. And I set ChatGPT up as, hey, you're Mike North. It's up to you to send the schedule, come up with the best solution, kind of do a little matrix of the entire NFL, and then spit back, the Buffalo games. And so I put it into whatever deep research mode to look at tendencies and other stuff. And I gave it a couple of parameters. And it spit out something that I think is not too far-fetched. There's some things that don't seem super likely here, but do you want to hear the official ChatGPT predicted schedule? Because I figured this would be more fun than us sitting down and each predicting a schedule, because that could be a a long episode.
So I'm not good at doing that.
Let's just roast ChatGPT and then take credit if we're right about anything. So anyway,
it just goes 18 of 18 or 17 and 17.
That would be amazing. Well, 18 of 18, because getting the bye week right matters.
Oh yeah.
All right. Sunday, September 7th, 2025, Miami at home. Home opener against Miami in Buffalo. That could be good. Beautiful.
That would leave it open for Madrid still.
Right, because Miami would be... We'll get to it. Yes, it still would technically be open at that point. Okay, second week at New England, Monday Night Football. Which...
Prime time.
Stephon Diggs.
First prime time.
Matt Collins, I think that's also a matchup that I feel like if you're Mike North, you want to put that at the beginning of the year.
Yes.
Because you don't want to have prime time where one of these teams is like 4-6. Like the Patriots could be a middling team this year, but you're guaranteed for it to be really exciting at the beginning of the year because, the worst that could happen is the Patriots come in 0-1.
Yeah. Well, if you recall, I think I picked the Patriots to be pretty decent next year. Like they could push us a little bit.
Well,
we argued a little bit about that, I remember. Anyways. I like that though.
Thank you for being devil's advocate on that one.
Is Diggs going to be healthy by then? Probably not.
That's a good point because that kind of matters. So I bet you ChatGPT did not take that into account as a variable. So
a 32-year-old's ACL.
All right.
Rehab time.
All right. Next up, hosting Baltimore Sunday Night Football Week 3.
Back-to-back primetime games. Cool. That's definitely. We're gonna have so many. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you say that, but a lot of them are going to end up at 425. And so I personally think, and I kind of put this in as a parameter, I kind of suggested it to ChatGPT, the Chiefs game almost always ends up as a 4:00 game because CBS is like, hands off, that's mine. Mm-hmm. Also, I think the same might happen with Philly as a Fox game.
Yeah.
So that could be a Fox game of the week rather than a primetime game.
2 also potential homes for those 2 games. Eagles, Bills, Thanksgiving. Chiefs, Bills, Christmas or Black Friday.
It's possible. I feel like that's too good of a game to put on a holiday, though.
Interesting.
Like I feel like that's it's almost like you need like a 75 rated matchup for those holiday games, right? Okay. Like you just need pretty good.
Yeah.
Now we'll get to it because I think that they might play on those holidays, but I don't know what the opponents might be. So anyway, week 4 away at Atlanta, 1:00 game. Okay. Week 5 hosting Cincinnati, 4:25 game. National broadcast, that could be 4:25. That could also be Monday Night Football, Sunday Night Football, something like that. Week 6, Carolina away, 1 p.m.
Cool.
Week 7 at Pittsburgh. This is what it listed as the international likely Dublin game. So this would be Sunday, October 19th, early morning game in Ireland.
I think the last two games you said, the North Carolina game, Bills fans going to take that over for sure. Panthers, Buffalo and Rochester, Western New Yorkers already took over Charlotte. They'll just show up for that game more than Panthers fans will. Then the next game, that'd be a fun little trip. You go to Charlotte, you fly out of Charlotte internationally, a little 2-week bender there for any Bills fans trying to get out of town. Bender.
Yeah, that's great. Oh man, can you not wait until we have we're spending our week talking about what day are the Bills going to leave? Are they going to leave late again? And how bad was that? Like, get there at the beginning of the week, Bills. I don't care. Yeah. Get there as soon as you can. Get adjusted, and then the way this is simulated, it's the bye week after that international game. So that makes sense that they might get the option between picking their bye week late or after their international game. Usually if you play an international game, they give you that choice. Yeah. Last year, I think the Bills decided, or 2 years ago, they decided to take the bye week later in the season rather than after their London game, right?
Yeah.
I can't remember if that was the case. But anyway, this would be a good time to take the bye week, I feel like. Having a bye week late is great and all, but after an international game, you got to recover.
And maybe it says it on here, but you also get the mini bye when you have your Thursday night game. So maybe if they got something out later, a little bit later on, and then they get that little 10-day break from Thursday to Monday or something, whatever.
Right. Yeah. Next up, after the bye week, which was week 8, week 9, home Sunday Night Football versus the Jets. This is probably the most controversial thing that I see on here. I don't see them getting Sunday Night Football with the Jets. I could see a Thursday Night Football game versus the Jets. But I don't know. And again, actually might not be that far off, because if you're going to put the Jets in prime time for something, you got to put them with a stellar opponent. Like the Bills would carry that matchup for ratings. Yeah. But again, I think Sunday night's too big of a window for what the Jets are right now. So that might be a Monday Night Football thing. But anyway, that's what ChatGPT predicted. Anyway, next up, we got a run of Sunday 1 p.m. games.
Cool.
We go at Houston, at New York, home against New Orleans, and at Cleveland.
What's the date of that home game against New Orleans?
That would be Sunday, November 23rd. So
day after my birthday.
Yeah, so no Thanksgiving Day in this simulation.
It's either the week before or week after. I never remember. Hey, maybe that's a boys' trip game for my birthday. Hey. Turning 30, everybody goes to the game. All right.
Hey, there you go. Yeah. Oh my God, we're all turning 30s.
Yeah. Well, I gotta work. I forgot to do that. Yeah. This is the other thing. I have to get these dates down, to all the jobs together. Like, I gotta call subs months in advance. Be like, hey, Thursday night game. I need help on Friday. I'm gonna be sick. Help me out. So, anyways.
And then Sunday, December 7th on the sim is at Kansas City.
Okay.
Late game national broadcast. Can you check their opponents? Did that get it right?
Are they playing at Kansas City?
I thought they were playing in Buffalo this year.
It's in Buffalo. It is in Buffalo. And I feel like that lines up with the exact time it was last year.
Yeah.
Early December.
Yeah, late in the season, but yeah. So that's a game you can put pretty much anywhere in the season. You don't want to put it too early.
I want it early.
No, I want it early too, but you can't put it earlier than week 4, I feel like.
No. And the Bills have always, under McDermott, I think they're 3-1 every year, except for Allen's rookie year.
Right.
They drop a couple, but I don't think they've ever lost 2 games in the first month of the season.
Yeah, they definitely haven't started 2-2 since Josh has been good. Anyway, right after Kansas City comes Philadelphia at home, 4:25.
Didn't they play back-to-back last time?
They did.
Okay.
Interesting. So, and then this is the Christmas Day home hosting Tampa Bay.
Okay.
And I think that aligns with the factors in play. That would be entertaining. Baker in Buffalo, possible snow globe, Christmas Day. I think that makes sense. I think that checks the boxes.
They played a really good game last time we were here.
Yep.
I think that was Ken Dorsey's offense, right?
Yes.
The end of it before the Broncos game. And they almost lost. They almost lost that game on a Hail Mary, right?
Yes.
I don't know how I feel about the game on Christmas at home. I'd be bummed to have to work. I'm sure we get holiday pay, so it can't be that bad. It's one of those, I like working the holiday games, but I don't know, now that I have a niece, man, she's the best. I want to see her on Christmas when I watch her open up the presents. But we make adjustments, right? And we could have Christmas on New Year or on New Year's Day, on Christmas Eve and make it work. But I feel like that would be fun if you could be with your family and you get the presents done, you have lunch and you sit down and you're ready for a Was it 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock?
It predicted 4:25, which would be perfect, right? Be perfect. Like you could even take your time getting into the stadium if you wanted to. I know most people won't.
I gotta leave by like 10.
Right. So you might be a little bit rushed for a home game there. So it does suck for the people who work Bills games, and like we can plan around it with the pod and stuff like that. Yeah. But that's tough for the people who are working at the game.
Still would be a cool story though. I like the holidays.
Right. Finishing off the season, these games are listed as Sunday at 1 p.m., but we know these games usually come up on the schedule and they're like, they could be Saturday, they could be Sunday because college football is finished up and the NFL is like, we'll take that. Saturday's our day now.
Yeah.
And then it's just away at Miami and then home versus New England, week 18. So it didn't put together a bad schedule here. Got
that
most
checks
of
most boxes. Yeah.
Most of it right. So I'd be interested to see what it ends up as because I feel like it got some of this right.
Yeah. The only what flip flops if Kansas City is away? What's the home game that's not correct? You know what I'm saying?
That's a good question. We'd have to go through this.
Do you want me to give you the opponents right now? Home opponents?
It might not have actually flipped one because there's an uneven amount of home games and away games with the 17-game schedule. Yeah. So it might just be flipped that one home, and then that's everything. So I'm going to fix it for ChatGPT. Boom.
I like the idea. I think I talked about this a little bit. If you have Bills season tickets this year, you are in for a treat.
You got a lot of good home games.
Yeah, the last season of our stadium. And then, you could have, you got Ravens, Bengals, Chiefs, Eagles, Bucks could be good. I mean, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 5 home games. Dolphins games are good. So 6 out of the 8 home games could be marquee matchups. Yeah. And we're talking about reselling those tickets, man. You make your money back on 2 of those games if you're going to do that. Don't do that, Bills fans.
Don't be that guy.
We got PSLs, so don't do that. But if you do, cheer loud. Yeah.
Right. How cool would it be to go to that Ireland game?
I want to go to one. I want to go to one that's not here. I want to go out of the country for
I was going to say better or worse than going to a London game?
Better.
I would say better.
Much
I think
better,
it's better.
Probably.
Having been to both places, I definitely liked Ireland more than London.
Yeah.
really
Everybody
cool
I've ever talked to has said that about Ireland.
Yeah. Oh, it's awesome. Yeah. I mean, pounding Beamish in the hurling stadium outside of Dublin. Sign me up.
Go play golf on the cliffs. Yeah.
Do you have a wish list for what you want to see on the schedule the most? Is it Thanksgiving
Bills,
game?
Madrid.
Bills, Dolphins, Madrid. Really?
Yeah, I want to go. I want to go to Spain so bad. It looks so cool. I think it looks so cool. Costa del Sol. You talk about golf heaven, man. If you look at around the Mediterranean Sea, there's a Marbella. It's like a huge golf capital, and it's super cheap. A lot of the people buy houses there that like vacation. Big fishing town with the mouth of the Mediterranean Sea right there. I've done a little bit of research on this, but I would like to go there. I'd like to check that out. I'd like to spend some time there. I like the Ireland idea. I would much rather have a Thanksgiving game than a Christmas game. I don't know how you feel about that. If you had to pick one of the holidays, I'd pick Black Friday if I had to pick one. But if Black Friday for convenience of my life.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. It's like a secondary event. Because I like watching the Bills on holidays and stuff like that together, but it's like everyone has enough to fill that day already. Like spending time with your family, you're going to be able to fill. It's not like you're going to get bored halfway through the afternoon of Thanksgiving, right? So having it on a different day. Man. Right. But I mean, like, that might not be the same for everybody, but so I don't know.
The Bills bring us together more. And it's like, there's a reason to watch. There's a reason to be together. If the game's on and it's not a Bills game, nobody cares. I feel like maybe some people do if you got money on it or you have play fantasy football or whatever.
This is a fun thing that I did last year to kind of make it more interesting watching the Christmas Day games because I knew it was going to be a little bit boring watching like those games last year. So I went around to everybody in my family and I was like, pick one touchdown scorer today from this list. You
make a parlay?
And we made a 7-leg touchdown score parlay. And of course, only about half of them hit. So it wasn't bad. But it's like, I had like a $5 free bet or something like that. If we hit this, we're all splitting $3,000, guys. Yeah. And that's enough to sit there and root for touchdown scorers. That's
cool. So did you see, maybe it was like a TikTok something, maybe on Instagram. I don't know what I saw it on. The guy for his Secret Santa exchange gave a parlay
Yes.
It's hilarious. You bet $5 parlay on plus 2,000 odds and it hits, you win 20 grand or whatever it is. I don't know what the number is.
But $5 on plus 2,000 would be
200.
100.
Okay.
100.
So still, $100 for Christmas exchange, like, white elephant Santa exchange. You print it out, you put it in a little box, like, you try to read it. Well, Josh Allen touchdown. That's funny little gag gift.
That's funny. Yeah. I've seen people do that for like their groomsmen for their wedding and stuff like that. That's funny. Yeah. That's good. Not a Christmas present you want to give to your mother. Let's just say that. Like this is a parlay? This is a for the boys
parfait
type deal. Also, if you're not good at it, don't be gifting your L's to everybody.
Right? Use the Elite Picks app to make your picks at least. Yeah.
There you go. Oh, that's funny. Well, is there anything else you want to get to before we close things out here? Because, really, we're just eyes on the schedule, and then we can kind of look and talk about these prospects a little bit more in depth. It's kind of a weird time limit for the episode. I feel like we would have gone over an hour if we started talking about prospects for this episode. So we got all summer to talk about that, I feel like.
By the time next week rolls around, I think we do the schedule draft like we did last time. Maybe we can, if we'll talk to Patty or whatever, or talk to Anthony, somebody, have a third person in here to draft our favorite games on the schedule. That was fun. I thought we did a good job of that last year.
Yeah. Once that schedule comes out. So we could always record after like Wednesday night next week, and then we'd be able to do that right away. So that'd be fun.
Cool.
Yeah. Well, sweet. You guys know where to find us on all platforms at Not Buff Podcast. Give us a follow, shoot us a message, any of that stuff. Appreciate you guys listening in the off season. It's so cool that we have this platform to talk to you guys and people care. Like, like
the guy that commented, "Shut up, losers." On our Instagram
oh my
today.
God, I love that.
That was funny.
It's just I love it. I love it because it's interaction and
he's talking to us. Thank you for the comment. Yeah,
right. Exactly. So he also had quite a number of spelling errors in
which we point them out when we can. Yes.
Right. Sometimes you just get people out there telling on themselves, and you don't have to do anything. You don't have to retaliate. People just tell on themselves. So I find that's the case most of the time.
That is funny. Yeah.
Anyway. Also, it was cool to see the response from the Bean thing, too, because at first going into it, I felt like the majority of people were defending Bean on Twitter. But I think that's just the loudest voices in the room because, like, a lot of people, whether they send us comments on our videos or stuff like that or message me, or like, I kind of agree with what you guys were saying there. Yeah. So I think, most people realize that they have that kind of nuanced take, not just a shut up guys from GR.
And just, it's so crazy to me that Brandon Bean can say that when Elijah Moore is signing a contract next door.
Right.
It's, we got one. We got another one who fits perfectly in this offense. I think he's a great player, great addition, young veteran, key words there. I like that for him. He's had a ragtag quarterback room in his history. And I dare I say Curtis Samuel 2.0 over here? Do I get my hopes up? I don't know. But I think we got two guys now, which this roster looks a lot better than I think it did last year just by having him, because now you have insurance on Samuel with Moore and you have insurance on Moore with Samuel. So one of them is going to be healthy and one of them is going to produce this year. Hopefully they both do, but I like where we're at.
Yeah. And also, by the way, with that whole Bean thing, if you didn't agree with us, that's totally fine. Like,
totally cool. Yeah.
It was fun to have the conversation and debate it civilly, unlike Brandon Bean.
Well, that's the whole point of doing it, right? It's just like, why are you thinking this? Like, well, I just want to know. I just was curious.
Right. Yeah. So I get it because it was a nuanced issue or a polarizing issue for a reason. There's some truth to both sides of it. So. But anyway, all that other stuff, I love how I always roll the intro and then we talk for 5 more minutes. That's always how it goes on the show. But that's okay. Anyway, we'll be back next week. And as always, go Bills.
Go Bills.